Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, traders? What's going on? Welcome back and happy Thursday. I'm excited to be back, ready to see what the market has in store for us today and see if we can finally hit a nice trade this week, ladies and gentlemen. My goodness, it's been a slow start to June. It's been a slow start. My goodness. Couple red trades. I think we had a red day. Even yesterday, I lost like $100. Was all said and done. So we need some action, baby. We need some good setups. We need some good follow through. I'm ready to make it happen. So we're going to dive into it, talk about what we have for the day, make sure we take this time to get you guys prepared and help you guys learn a little something through the process as well. But before we dive into it, go ahead and hit me with a big old good morning. Do a quick audio check as well. Just make sure the stream is working for you guys. Audio is coming in loud and clear, and we will be ready to rock and roll. Mr. Paxton, what's up, brother? We got Steve in the house. The Sizzler is back. I love it. Tom, good morning. We had Jacob in here bright and early this morning as well. Jake's ready to rock and roll. Cannot wait to make it happen. Woo! Woohoo! Hey, there we go. I love it. All right. Without further ado, let's get with it, ladies and gentlemen. So, looking at the SPY, we were kind of flat. Yeah, I mean, not kind of flat. We were flat yesterday. I mean, we're literally setting a what? Is that a $2 window? Yeah, I mean, our entire range yesterday was $2. I mean, not bad, right? Seeing a nice little $2 range throughout the day, but a lot of just sideways, iffy price action. It was just kind of subpar. So definitely need to just see this break out of this range we've been in the past, I would say, couple sessions. Since about what? 11 o'clock on Tuesday, we've just been more or less sitting sideways, right? But we'll have to go to the daily as always and just start picking this apart. And the first area that really starts to just stand out to me is this area right here. This was the make or break. That was the high before the gap down and that pullback. And that was the breakout point here on the SPY as well. And what did we see? We came up Tuesday. We broke that prior high, prior level of resistance. We got above it, and we held it as low of day yesterday. So right around this 595.48, that's going to be the make or break here on the SPY. But we could build a solid zone around this region just by looking left. So if I look left, I see that we got some support, got a couple hits here, support resistance, couple hits here, same thing. We got a couple hits in that region. So I can start to build a solid zone around these two price points. So I'm just going to look left, build a zone around everything that I see and make sure I'm capturing the significant points here. So I get that high a day. I get yesterday's low a day. I'm looking left. I want to get that high a day, low a day, low a day, high day, gap up, low a day, bounce. So I can see that I got a lot of hits off this zone, and it's a nice tight zone as well. So what do we got? We got a zone here between 595.13 to 595.58. And it all started with, hey, that was the breakout point. That was prior resistance. Price broke it. We held it yesterday as low a day. You look left, you see that it's an area that's been hit many times in the past as well. So that is a key significant daily zone. That's also going to be our LITs, the line in the sand. For today, that's the breakout point. That's the line in the sand. If we can hold that level of support, we can absolutely see the market push higher. But if we see the SPY get back down below that zone and we stay below it, that's going to start to indicate that this was just a false break through that zone of resistance, and we could start to see a pullback. All right, so that's going to be the LITs, and that's a very sharp, significant level. Right, I know we still have that daily zone of supply, right? We've just been pushing up into this daily zone of supply here. We've hit it 1, 2, 3 times. So what do I want to do? I just want to adjust my supply zone and put it where price has yet to go, right? So yesterday, the zone was right here. All right, that was the remaining part of supply where price had yet to revisit. That's where I'm saying, hey, there's definitely going to be some unfilled orders in this area because price has not been back into that region yet. But what did we see? Price came up yesterday, hit the bottom part of that daily supply zone, and we saw a nice drop to the downside, but we saw price hit the zone. So I'm just going to take the bottom of my zone and drag it up over yesterday's high a day. And that's still this supply zone where price has yet to go. All right, so we got daily supply up here. We got that daily zone of support. That's our lits for today, right? Do we have any other zones to the upside? Any other key significant zone of daily support resistance? We do, and it's the same area that we ran up into yesterday, and we hit it as high a day. So we can see here that we're going to have a really nice solid daily zone between 597.32 to 597.90. I mean, look, high day resistance, drop, high day resistance, drop, high day resistance, big drop. So you got 3 hits followed by a really sharp move off that zone. That's solid. Low a day, big bounce, gap down, open high a day, big drop, high a day, massive drop, low a day, big bounce, right? Come up, hit that zone as high a day, big drops. I mean, you got tons of hits and some very sharp moves off that zone. So that's a dialed zone. And that's the same area that we came up into yesterday, right? Because we had that supply zone. We had that daily zone of resistance. We came up into it and we fell. That was one of our plans from yesterday. That zone is still a valid zone of resistance, guys. It's still a key zone that we need to have up, right? But we definitely want to make the adjustment to that supply zone and make sure that we're only looking at the supply zone where price has yet to revisit. So we got that daily zone of resistance. We got some daily supply overhead. We have that daily zone of support. That's the make or break. And let's say we start to fall below that lits. How much lower to the downside could we see the SPY go? Well, I'm really just looking at this area here. I could see that we have a lot of resistance in this region over the past couple of weeks. So I know that there's going to be a key zone right in this region, right? I get a candle open, candle close. That's 2 points, 3 points, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So literally just in this region here, I got 8 different points, 8 different hits off this zone. So, hey, got 8 hits. Perfect. That's a lot. And I see some pretty sharp, significant moves off that zone as well. And if I look left, I can see that it's been hit a couple more times in the past with some pretty sharp moves off of it. So that's a dialed in zone, right? That zone is down here between 592.59 to 593.18. So I got 3 dialed in zones. I got supply overhead. Let's go see where we're at in pre-market. All right, so we're hitting that lits, that line in the sand. That's the make or break. We fall below it, hold below it. We get short down to 593. We hold the lits. We just get long up into the 597s. But what if we get below 593? Like, how much lower could we see to the downside? Well, we got to go find our next lower zone to the downside. And that's going to wrap up the zoning because I wouldn't want to necessarily need to find another lower zone below this zone here. Because I don't think price is getting below 589 today. But this is going to be your final zone of support to the downside. It's going to be 589 to 589.59 here on the SPY. High day rejection, low a day bounce, low a day bounce. Quite a few hits off that zone. Take that zone, extend it out to the left. You can see that it's been an area that's been respected many, many, many times in the past. Low day, big bounce. Low day, big bounce. We hit it here quite a few times as well. And so, again, that lower zone down between 589 to 589.59. And so I'm pretty much good, right? So if we do start to fall below these areas of support, right, that's going to be the lowest zone of support that we would probably get to today. And we got that top zone of resistance. We got some of that daily supply left over. But what if we get through that zone of resistance? We get through some of that supply. Now, how much higher are we going on the SPY? Well, there's going to be one final zone of resistance to the upside. And that's up between 599.25 to 599.66. Right? So, again, that zone is 599.25 to 599.66. We get high day resistance, come back up, hit it 2 times, back to back, high day resistance, big drop off that zone. So you got like 3 hits right here. Gap up, open, low a day, big push into those prior all-time highs. Sharp move. High a day, big dump. High a day, nice drop. Low a day, big bounce. High a day, big drop. So you see the types of moves we've seen off that zone. They've been sharp. Pretty significant moves off that zone. And we got a lot of hits as well. That's going to give us one final zone of top resistance here on the SPY. Then we can just go ahead and start flipping this down into the lower time frames and start doing some supply demand analysis on our 4-hour time frame. Do I have any visible, significant 4-hour supply? I mean, yeah, but it's way down here. And I know I'm going to see something better on a 1 hour. So 4-hour time frame, nothing clear that just stands out to me. So I'm going to go right down into my 1 hour time frame. And I'm looking for supply demand. I know I have daily supply overhead. Do I have any demand? I mean, yeah, you got a little, 1 hour demand zone, like right here. But on how much volume, right? Not a lot of volume created that pre-market demand zone. So could we see a slight reaction off that zone and see a possible scalp setup? Yeah, we could. But again, you just got to recognize that that zone was created during a period of lower volume. So if there's going to be unfilled orders left over, how many unfilled orders are left over? If it was only created on 100,000 shares, but we're trading millions of shares a day in the market. So you just got to understand where those zones come from and just assess them correctly. So I'm not crazy about that zone. We had that demand zone here. It was a previous hit off all of that prior day demand. So that was a hit before the push. No clear 1 hour demand that I'm seeing here on the SPY. Let's go finish this up on a 30-minute, and then we'll build those plans, right? Do I have any clear 30-minute supply? I do not. Any clear 30-minute demand that I want to mark up? No, not really. So I'm really just running my zones of support resistance for today. All right, so let's go ahead and build those plans, guys. We got the line in the sand, the lits, the make or break on the SPY. That's 595.13 to 595.58. That is your make or break. So if price comes down to the zone and we hold it, and we got good price action, we want to play calls today. Where to? That top zone of resistance, which is right at daily supply. That's up between 597.32 to 597.90. That would be our target to the long side. All right. If we come below the lits, let's say price falls below it, we see a retest as resistance with, again, really good price action forming. We'll get puts off that 595 zone, and we'll play those puts down into our 593 zone. Okay. Here's the other thing. If we come up into that zone of resistance and break it, for example, normally I would want to play the break and the retest long, right? I wouldn't do that today. I would not trade a break and retest here if I saw it set up. Why? Because I'm getting long into all of that daily supply. I don't want to get long when I have all that supply overhead. So I would just hold off. I would not trade the break and retest long. But if we see the break in the retest and we see the long, great. If we get up to that 599 zone, that's also the tippity top of daily supply. That's where I would look to take a short on the SPY. So again, I'm not trading the break and retest long into all of this daily supply. But if we come all the way up to the top of daily supply and that daily zone of resistance right around 599.50, that's going to be an area where I'm confident to take puts and short the SPY. All right. So that's what we got for the day, ladies and gentlemen. Looking at your lits, you hold the lits, you go long, you fall below it, stay below it, you get short. Targets, next zones. We come up to that zone of resistance right at daily supply. We can't break it. We take puts. We get above this zone. Not taking the long, but I'll wait to see if we get up into all of that daily supply, into that 599.50 zone of resistance. And then that is where I'm looking to take puts. You're on the SPY, guys. So that is what we have for the day. Anybody have any questions on the SPY before we move on to QQQ? And all we done is top-down analysis. Start on the daily time frame. Key zones of support resistance, supply demand, doing gap analysis, flipping that down into the lower time frames, seeing if there's anything else that stands out. And then we finish up on a lower time frame. Then we just have to build the what if plans. What if the stock comes to this zone? What would I want to see it do? What kind of setup could I see present itself? And just visualize the types of trades that we could see set up today, and you're ready to rock and roll. What numbers are the 595 zone? That is 595.13 to 595.58. All right, we good on the SPY? Because we're going to go right on over to the Qs. All right, let's go to the Qs. I'm doing the same thing, guys. This is the process. Higher time frame analysis on down to the lower time frames. Find the best of the best areas that you would want to trade off of. Visualize the types of trades that could set up. And you're ready. That's preparation, baby. You're ready to rock. Qs. This was the breakout point here on the Qs, right? It was right around like 522.50. That was the breakout point. A lot of resistance, false breakout. Then we broke it. So we know that that's going to be the breakout point here on QQQ. That's going to be the line in the sand area. Is going to be that breakout point if we come back and retest it. But we need to build a zone around this region here. But at least I know that was the breakout point, right around that 522.50. So let's go ahead and build our zone in this region here. I can take that zone, I can extend it out to the left, and I see, oh, wow, it's a zone that's been respected many times in the past. Low day bounce, low day bounce, low day bounce, low day bounce. Big moves off that zone, and we clearly see that this was that key zone of resistance. Price gaps above it Thursday, May 29th. We come right back below it, indicating that was just one big false breakout. We did not come back and retest the zone as resistance. We instead broke it. That's still the breakout point. So are we going to retest the breakout point? Sometimes we do. And if we do come back and retest the breakout point and we hold that zone of support, we know there's more upside. But if we ever see price get back below that zone and fail to get back above it, we know that's going to start to set up for a good short in the market. So that's going to be a pretty dialed in key zone here on QQQ. That is 521.45 to 522.27. That is a very strong zone. Let's go up, 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 up. Where is our next key level here on the Qs? That is going to be right here at, I'm just making my adjustments. Bear with me, guys. Okay, I'm doing this all live. Okay, it's not like I've already done this and I'm coming in. Hindsight 2020, give it to you. I'm doing this in real time so you guys can see how we're finding the zones and follow along. So this is going to be a good zone, right? High day, rejected. Low day, bounce. Look at the high day, low day back to back. Hitting that zone beautifully. High day, big drop. High day, big drop. High day, big drop. Low day, bounce, right? Gap up, open, high day, big drop. Shit, look at that. Just so happened to be yesterday's low a day, surprisingly, right? Like, that was already a dialed-in zone. I'm pretty sure that was the zone we had yesterday. Yeah, it was, because we were capturing that gap up, open, high day. So that was the zone that we had from yesterday. Shocking. It was respected as low of day yesterday. Who would have thought? So that's going to be a dialed-in zone. That is 525.98 to 526.51. All right. And then we got to go find our last daily zone to the upside. And this is where it does get tough. Like, finding a zone with all this daily chop up here near those all-time highs, this is where zone analysis, I mean, it gets a little tough. Take a little bit more patience, really working those zones, really making sure that they're as tight as possible, capturing all of the most significant points. We got 1 hit, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so this zone's got about 8 hits off of it. Okay, we got about 8 hits. We got 1 hit. We have 2, 3 hits. We have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits. Okay. Do we have sharp moves off the zone? Yeah. Gap up, low a day, big bounce. Gap up, high a day, big drop. That was also what? Tuesday's high a day. Nice drop on off. That's going to be a dialed zone here on the Qs too. That is going to be between 528.75 to 529.31. Okay. I think we got to go find one more though, because we could break yesterday's high a day and see the market push higher. So we do got to go find one more dialed in zone here on QQQ Daily. And again, it does get a little tough finding the best of the best zones in this region because you had all of that daily chop. It was just all over the place on the daily. So let's do the best we can because there's no supply up here. So all we realistically have to work with are going to be our daily zones. My goodness. This is just ugly. All right, this is not like a super freaking strong, significant zone, but it's the next best area that we have. And I only have like 2 hits. That's it. So I have to further validate that zone. How am I going to further validate this weaker daily zone? Well, I got to flip it down into a lower time frame and look at these days on a lower time frame to see how we moved off that zone. But I got a high day, drop, high day, drop. But I got those 2 significant points, right? And some pretty sharp moves off the zone. So I like the sharp moves. It's just got 2 hits. So I need to go down into the lower time frame and further validate that zone. Is the market popping? The market's popping right now. That's beautiful. Love it. So we're going to dissect the top zone on a lower time frame and see if there's anything we can see that stands out. 30-minute time frame, came down, hit the zone, popped. This day you broke it, retested it as support. You moved higher. You can't see that shit on the daily. Can't see that at all. Break it, retest it, push. Break it, retest it as support, push. That is a pretty nice zone. That's a great zone, actually. Ran up into it, hit it as resistance, drop, crack back, lower high, drop off the zone, crack, retest, drop off the zone. Yeah, it looks good. So you see how we further validated it in like 10 seconds. It's a daily zone that stands out. We have 2 pretty significant points, sharp rejections off that zone, but it's only got 2 hits. Flip it down to a lower time frame. Look at these types of days where we just don't have any daily hit off the zone and see what we did off that zone on a lower time frame like we just did. And if you can further validate it, it's a significant zone. If not, you just have to understand it's a lower significant zone, and maybe you just don't want to actively take a trade off that zone just because price is there. But it's a nice area. We further validate it on a lower time frame. It looks good. Where are the Qs right now, though? I noticed we were just popping on up there in pre-market. Are we breaking that zone? No, we ran up right to it, though. You know, a little bit above it, but right up to it. Dropping on off. I think we got to go find one more area to the upside for today because we could break higher. Next area to the upside on the Qs. It's crazy that we're so close to all-time highs. Next key zone to the upside is 533.77 to 534.19. That is going to be your next daily zone to the upside. So we have what? 5 key daily zones of support resistance. Do we have any key supply or demand on the daily? I don't see anything nearby. So no. Do I have any gaps nearby? I don't have any gaps nearby. So that's it. We're done on the daily. Easy peasy. Took us like 5 minutes. We're going to flip it down to a lower time frame. Look for some lower time frame zones of supply demand. I already know we're not going to see a lot because we didn't see a lot on the spot. Do I have any demand on a 4-hour? Nothing that looks beautiful. Do I have any, awesome supply on a 4-hour? Nah, price is already above it. Flip her down into a 1-hour time frame. Demand on a 1-hour, you would think, yeah, got some demand down here, Josh. But look left, it was just a previous hit off that demand. So we had intraday demand form, came down, hit those unfilled orders, and popped. That zone's mitigated. Done. Where's my next area of demand? Well, I got this 1 hour zone of demand sitting right here. And that's it. I have this little rally, base, rally. Price has yet to come back down into this region. So there's a little bit of demand left over, right? And that was a pre-market demand zone. It was created on 60,000 shares, right? 60,000 shares. So it's going to be easy with enough selling pressure intraday to just blast through those unfilled orders because it was created on lower volume. So I'm just not crazy about it. I'm going to remove it for that reason. And that's what we have. We don't really have any nearby awesome dialed zones of lower time frame supply or demand. So what are we rocking today, guys? We're rocking just our daily zones of support resistance. That's what we've got for today. What is our lits? Well, I know the lits was the breakout point, but we have the low day, high day retest. Our lits is going to be this zone for today, guys. The lits is that 525.98 to 526.51 zone. That's the lits. That's going to have to be the make or break for today. All right. And that's, again, that's what we have to work with. So we just have to wait for the cues to get to one of these daily zones and just see what's happening in real time and assess price action. So if we come up to that 531 zone of daily resistance and we have A+ price action forming off that zone, we can clearly see that there's more sellers than buyers. We'll just take the puts. If we come up and break that 531 zone, just wait for the retest. And then if we have good price action that shows us there's clearly more buyers than sellers, let's just trade this momentum to the upside and trade with the trend and get long off that 531 zone and just play it long to 534 and keep it simple. So that's where we're at, guys. Wait for the market to come to you. Let price get to one of these key zones. Then sit back and read price action off these key zones. And then assess your trade correctly. And then just rock and roll. It's that simple. There's nothing else that we can realistically do here, though. We are wrapped up here on the cues. What was the 531 zone? Yes, it was 531.22 to 531.63. All right. So, again, strong move to the upside. We're breaking some other key areas here on the cues to the upside. And, yeah, we're near an all-time highs. Take a look at the SPY. We got some pretty good stuff done on the SPY. Look at that, guys. I mean, that's no fucking coincidence. I'm sorry. But if y'all trade futures, you could trade futures on the setups that we see on the SPY in pre-market. I mean, it's not a coincidence that we came up on the SPY, hit that key zone of daily resistance and all of that supply, and then dropped hard to the downside. That was a $2 drop to the downside. Imagine going ES short. Like, I'm going to go one ES contract short here when the SPY setting up, and boom, seeing ES rock to the downside as well. So we got to reassess the SPY, right? Because we already see 100% of that daily supply zone hit. 100% of it's been hit. We saw a pretty sizable reaction off the top end of that supply zone and that daily zone of resistance. So I'm going to have to tread lightly up here. Like, I don't really put that much weight in that supply zone now, seeing how price already pushed through it, hit those unfilled orders, popped out on an increase of volume as well, because there was volume that pushed that up. So with that being said, I'm going to have to tread lightly with taking those puts up around 599.50 on the SPY. Why do I need to tread lightly with that trade idea that we talked about? Well, price already came up and hit 599.50 and it dropped to the downside. That was the trade that I wanted to see at market open. It took place like 5 minutes ago. So for that reason, I just need to tread lightly with a short up here because it may not play out. The probabilities are slightly lower after that first hit that we just saw about 5 minutes ago. But what do I need to do? I definitely need to go find one more dialed in daily zone of resistance to the upside, just in case the market keeps pushing higher today. All right, so next daily zone on the SPY that we need to go throw on up is going to be this zone here between, what is this, $600.86 up to 601.32. That is going to be your next daily zone to the upside here on the SPY. And that's where we're at. That's where we're at. All right, what else we got? What other stocks are you guys checking out today? Anything on the watch list? Let's review it. You guys are all set on the spine, the cues, ready to rock and roll. And we'll see if the market gives us something good today, guys. While I wait for your tickers to be posted on up, I'm going to go warm up my coffee. I'll be right back. It will keep rocking and rolling, ladies and gentlemen. I spilled coffee on my pants, man. Not a great way to start the day, is it? Spilling coffee on your pants? Man, another Steve. This guy's still on. Slap in the face. This guy is always on, brother. What are you talking about, man? All right, what else are we looking at, team? It's just nice to see how well respected our zones are. Like, you see how we came down to the lits? We hit it, pushed right up to that top zone of resistance, 100% of supply, rejected. Now we're coming back into that daily zone. Now as support, what do you see price doing? Trying to hold it as support. It's no coincidence that these zones are respected 70 to 80% of the time. So you guys got to learn the art and the skill of zoning. Master this. It's going to make your trading a lot easier, a lot more profitable, because what do you have to just do? Just take the trades when price gets to the zone. If that's all you did was just wait for price to get to zone and take trade off zone, you would win 60, 70% of the time. So get good at the zones. It's no coincidence that they're respected pretty consistently. It's going to make your trading 1,000 times easier. And you see the same thing with the Qs. We did all of this analysis before this movement this morning. Wow, would you look at that? That zone was respected as support. That zone was hit as resistance. Ah, shocking. No, it's not. Just how the market likes to move, baby. Crazy, you got the same zone on NES. Winky face. Yeah, brother. I swear, man. I'm thinking about joining the futures bandwagon again and just rocking with some futures with you guys. Plus, I'm teaching my wife how to trade futures, so like, might as well. All right, what's left, ladies and gentlemen? Do it, do it. Yeah, man. Last time I did it, it got way too much of my focus, and I wasn't really focused on, trading options in my Roth, and that just started to kind of set me back on the goals that I have. And I'm like, well, it's just one or the other. So I just dialed in, doubled down on just trading options on the Roth versus going back and forth, back and forth. But I'll think about it. Think about it. Kind of want to because I'm going to be teaching her anyway. And plus, you know, dude, options have been moving weird last couple of weeks. Not weird, but just not moving enough. So, hey, dude, all these setups that we've seen pop quick where the options move like 5-10 cents. Dude, it's like a $500 trade on ES. It makes me want to because at least I know a couple contracts on ES. I'm banging out some nice, quick, profitable trades. Not watching the option move like 10 cents. You know? So. How was teaching my wife going? Good. So day 2, active like day 2 of teaching her. She's got the basics down. She understands candlesticks. She understands what she's looking at when she looks at a chart. She understands the difference between time frames and what those candlesticks represent on each time frame. She's got tickers down pat. The tickers, the time frames, the candlesticks, and then she's got some basic supply and demand concepts under her belt. So she knows, you know, the 4 key terms for supply and demand, like rally-based rally, drop-based rally, and then based on those formations, what type of zone is it? Is it supply or demand? And then she knows what action to take off those zones. So she knows to sell off supply and to buy off demand. So for day number 2 being in it, I think she's doing really, really good for being day 2 in me teaching her. I got 28 more days to go. So I think she'll be good. I think she'll be doing great. Next conversation we're going to be talking about is account structure, like structuring accounts, risk management, some of the key things about that, just to bring it to her attention. Then we're actually going to start getting into a lot more analysis, dialing in analysis, identifying how to take trades off certain areas, build some systems out. But that's where we're at. Day 2, strong start. She's grasping it pretty well. Yeah, interactive. Yeah, they do have futures. Yep. I've seen that. And then you can link it to TradingView if you wanted to. Explain your mentorship, please. Yeah, if you're a good fit for the mentorship and you're invited in, we get you profitable within 3 to 6 months if you're a good fit. And that's just, simply put, how it works, man. All the course material, all the coaching, all the assets, all the one-on-one help that you get from me, the community, the team. You got to be a good fit. And if you are, and we invite you in, 3 to 6 months of hard work, you're profitable. You're scaling your system. You've identified your edge. You have confidence in how to trade, and you know that you can rely upon your trading. Who is the good fit? It just depends on how the conversation goes. So I have conversations with individuals that we think would be a good fit based on the application they submit. So you submit an app on the website. I look at it. If I think, hey, we could help you, let's have a quick conversation. 30-minute conversation. We'll be able to go back and forth about you, your trading, your goals, the time that you have to commit. And then through that conversation, we'll both be able to determine if the mentorship makes sense for you, if it's a fit. If it is, we discuss the details. We invite you in. If not, you leave the call with some clarity, some next steps. Is there anything else you guys are looking at besides the SPY and the Qs? Anything else that's hitting the radar this morning? Y'all are quiet today. It's Thursday, baby. It's one of the best days of the week. Not really. But hey, wake up. Get with it. Got 20 minutes to market open. We're all set on the SPY and the Qs. I'm going to just start ripping through my watch list And I'm going to see if there's anything else that does stand on out. Apple, first glance on the daily, nothing. Tesla, honestly, Tesla, I think there could be a short here on Tesla, just based on that daily formation. Okay. I could get around a short here on Tesla. But we would have to gap down today. We would have to be gapping down. So we have that zone of support. We closed right at it yesterday. If we were to gap down today, come up, fill the gap, hit that daily zone of resistance, I would look to day trade puts on Tesla, but we would have to be gapping down today for me to want to take puts. You're going to have some of this daily demand on Tesla. So let's go ahead and mark up that daily demand zone on Tesla. So we got daily demands. We have a very key zone of support. Curious, if we gap down and retest, we can get short into demand. If we come down into demand, we can just play long off that demand zone. Oh, shit, we are gapping down. Would you look at that? Okay, cool. I think there could be something on Tesla. Let's keep picking this apart, guys. We have that daily demand zone. Where is our lower time frame demand zone? We got this drop base rally. I mean, that's where the rally starts. So we have the gap down from the 4 hour to the next 4 hours. There's your drop. There's your base. There's your rally. So we're going to have some of that 4 hour demand inside of that daily demand zone. The structure will probably look better on a 1 hour. So let's go into the 1. And yeah, so we can already see we have the 1 hour drop, base, rally. So let's mark up the lows into the basing candle bodies. So now we got some 1 hour inside of the 4 hour, inside of the daily. Let's see if we have a 30-minute zone here on Tesla. Do we have a nice 30-minute zone? Yeah, buddy. We got the drop, but we got a base rally. But we do still see the drop base rally. Just got a few little basing candles before the impulse. But there's your 30-minute zone down around 314 on Tesla. So we got some overlap down around 314 on Tesla. That's a area that I would get long on Tesla, down around that 314 overlap. But I would also get short if we close the gap from the gap down. So where did we close yesterday on Tesla? 332.05. So if we see Tesla open, push up, fill the gap, which is basically just yesterday's close, and we fill the gap and we get rejected off that daily zone of resistance, I'm playing puts on Tesla today. I would absolutely play puts. That's an A+ setup to the short side. But we would have to come back up, fill the gap, reject off that daily zone of resistance, and then, only then would I take the puts. Or we come down to that 314 demand zone overlap where we have the daily, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 30 minutes demand zones overlapping. They all overlap right there around 314. So if Tesla comes down into that demand overlap, that's where I'm taking calls on Tesla. Tesla looks good. I think this goes top of the watch list today. Absolutely. So Tesla, top of the list. So Tesla's definitely up there. Tesla looked good at first glance. So Tesla on the list. Let's rip through a couple more. Corey, currently in a swing trade on XOM calls with a target of 108. July 18th expiration. So you're running 45 days, 105 calls. You got hit really hard yesterday to the downside. So I'm not sure where your entry was at. You don't worry about news on Tesla? Yeah, I worry about news. Yeah, is there a catalyst that's moving the stock? Is there any news that's been released that's causing the stock to, rip up or rip down? But is, say bad news going to keep me out of taking a trade long if the technicals back up a long? I'll still take the long, right? Even if there's bad news that caused the stock to gap down 10%, we come down to a key technical level that we can see a move off of, and I can capitalize on that move and profit on that move regardless of any kind of news out there. I'm still taking the trade. Absolutely, 100%. So I know there's some not so hot news with Tesla, with Musk, everything that's going on, why the stock's moving lower. And so, hey, if we see the short set up, I want to play the short because we're gapping down. But if we come down to that 4-zone demand overlap, I expect there to be unfilled orders left over that get picked up, and we see a pop, we see a reaction, and that be a trade that I can make money on, regardless of the great news or the bad news. But I'm definitely keeping a pulse on what's going on news-related and how that's impacting the stock's price. But any kind of bad news or good news has already been priced in. We got to think about it that way. Everything's being priced in real time. So, hey, any bad news, Tesla stock's price moves lower. That bad news has already been priced into the stock. Again, I just go right to the technicals. Do I see an A+ high probability reason to take a trade? Yes, most of the time, regardless of any news that's already come out. Because again, the way I look at it is it's been priced in. So you got in on June 2nd. So June 2nd, come down, hitting some of that maybe daily demand down there. All right. If that was the reason, like that little daily demand block that was just kind of chilling. That was the gap fill. Gap fill, little demand zone. All right, so you got a little gap fill entry. Nice pop. Ran up. Really nice in a short amount of time. Pretty strong downward move yesterday, right? Pretty strong downward move yesterday. Right back to the gap level. And we hit the gap level. We're popping. Honestly, dude, I wouldn't want to see it come down below that daily demand that we see, because we have a little drop base rally formation. And ideally the gap level, man, at like 102. I just wouldn't really want to see it get that much lower off a strong down day yesterday. So, worst case scenario, brother, if I was looking at this with an entry off the gap fill bounce, putting stops below demand, I'm risking about $1.35 on this. If I'm going gap fill bounce off a little bit of this daily demand, I look left. Where could we see this go? 105 was target. That was a little imbalance there on XOM's daily, right up around 105. It hit that level yesterday. I'm not sure if you were here to get some of that off the table. That would have been a good area to start to exit. I mean, you caught $2.50 of upside within 3 days on 45-day expirations, and you were at the money on those 105s that day. Those were probably profitable. Big downward move yesterday. I wouldn't want to see it fall below that daily demand zone. And if we're going to run back up to 105, that's a good area to maybe take a little bit of profit. But then, realistically, where do I see XOM going? Just looking at the daily. We got that daily supply candle up here, and there's a daily gap sitting right there underneath that supply zone. So main target would have to be like 108 on XOM, right? That's the area that I expect to see price retreat and start to fall to the downside if we get up into some of this daily supply, and if we fill this daily imbalance, we fill this gap. So 108.20 main target. Stops would have to be underneath that demand zone. Targets, gap fill into supply. You were running about a 4-to-1 risk reward on XOM. But that downward move yesterday kind of sucks. Running up 2.5 points within 3 sessions, hitting 105, and then just tanking hard. We're going to have to see buyers really step back in, ideally off this 102.30, and start to drive price action back up. 108, there you go, buddy. 108, 108.20 is a good, realistic little target here on XOM, and you bought yourself enough time as well. Give yourself a couple of weeks. This could definitely hit and play out over the next couple of weeks, most definitely. AMD, what's crackin' with AMD? All right, so AMD, are you looking at a day trade or a swing trade on AMD? We thinking day trade or swing trade on AMD? What are we thinking? A day trade. All right, cool. If you're looking for a day trade, let's start with some daily analysis here. There's going to be a lot of supply, a lot of daily supply. I mean, we could see rally base drop, rally base drop, rally base drop, rally base drop. So there's going to be a lot of supply to the upside. All right. Let's go look at price to the left. Would I say that this is supply? No, it was a previous hit. But we do have this rally base drop formation here. So let's go ahead and mark up this daily supply zone, rally base drop. There's a gap here also, big gap down. So that's going to be the top of the gap at 122.80. We got pretty damn close to it on May 14th. You see how May 14th we got to 122.50. The gap fills at 122.80. That's where we're going to have some of that daily supply. Rally base drop formation. Look left. Was it a hit off previous supply? No. Previous supply here. There was your rally base drop, push on up, rally base drop, push on up, rally base drop, hit the unfilled orders, drop on out. So all of that lower supply here has already been taken out. So supply, taken out. Supply, taken out. Supply, we could come up, hit it, and reject off of it, for sure. So that daily supply zone on AMD is up at like 122.80 to 125.25. We have the top of the gap at 122.80. That's a strong resistance point. Do we have another key zone on AMD? Yeah. It's a decent little area here on AMD. I'll show you the daily zone of support resistance we have. I want to look left and see if it's no, it's not. So, I mean, we got this zone here on AMD between, what's the price level? 119.84 to 120.43. We come down into this level. We hit it as support several times. We get below it. We hit it as resistance several times. So this is going to be a pretty decent level that we can trade off of. It's going to be that, again, 119.84 to 120.43. So the best way that you can think about getting involved with AMD is if AMD breaks that zone and retests that zone on like a 5-minute, play it long to 122.80. If we come up and hit daily supply and we fill the gap at 122.80, that's where I'm looking to take puts here on AMD. So where's AMD at? AMD is getting close to that 119 zone, right? So this is the zone that you would see a trade set up off of. So if we run up into that daily zone of resistance, you have great price action. You see there's clearly more sellers than buyers. And we fail to break that zone. That's the first area that I'm thinking about shorting AMD off of, that daily zone of resistance. But if we see price break through it, wait for the retest. Okay, if we retest that zone, have great price action, play it long to 122.80. We come up and hit 122.80. We fill the daily gap. We hit some of that daily supply, and we see, again, based on price action, there's more sellers than buyers present. That's when I'm looking to take a short position on AMD. So that's an easy one, man. It just comes down to what does price do off this 119.84 to 120.43 zone? What does price do? If price can't break it, you play puts. If price does break, you wait for the retest and you simply play calls based on what takes place off that daily zone. Simple stuff. Just wait for price to get there, read price action correctly, find yourself on the right side of the trade, rock and roll. That would be AMD for a day trade, man. That would be AMD for a day trade, brother. All right. But we're going to go ahead and wrap up the sesh today, ladies and gentlemen. We've been live for about the last hour. We've picked apart the SPY and the Qs, got you guys prepped for the day. We talked about Tesla, good day trade potential on Tesla today. We reviewed AMD as well. AMD looks decent, right? Just decent for a day trade. I'm going to keep an eye on it. And if it sets up today, I'll take the trade. So I'm going to keep it on the list. We got AMD, looks pretty good. Tesla, another top stock for today. We know exactly where we want to be getting in, getting out. How do we want to trade Tesla? We're ready to rock there. And then, as always, SPY and the Qs, baby. We're all set here. So, TikTokers, YouTubers, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Appreciate you. We do these lives a couple days during the week from 8:30 to 9:30 here for free on TikTok. So, tune in. Learn how to trade, learn how to go through this morning prep process, get prepared for the day, and then I basically just give you the best of the best setups on a silver platter. I'm like, here you guys go. Here's my trade plans for the day. If this happens, these are the trades I'm taking, and I give you guys those setups, those game plans, so you guys are fully dialed in. So tune in. Next time we're live, you guys should get that little notification that we're live. If you don't, just go hit that little notification bell on our page. So anytime I go live, at least you guys get notified. You can tune in. You guys can learn the skills of day trading and just become better overall. But stay blessed. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I will catch you guys back here maybe tomorrow, Friday. Wrap up the week here on TikTok. Who knows? Maybe I do a little free stream Friday with you guys too. So tune in tomorrow, 8:30. We'll be live. We'll have some fun with it. But take care, guys. Trade smart, trade safe. And we'll see you.